The Ludwig & Ludwig top hat drum is considered to be the rarest vintage drum out there. To have a top hat drum would be the pinnacle of any drummer's collection. Now, to have a whole set of them would be even better. Now, the only thing better than having one entire kit would be having two entire kits. And the only thing possibly better than having two top hat sets would be having three. Hey, and welcome to another chapter of Don's Drum Vault. I'm Don Bennett, and today we're going to be talking about the Ludwig & Ludwig top hat drum set. So in 1940, Ludwig & Ludwig had adopted the logo tops in the drum world. And they used the top hat graphic as their logo, with the top hat and the cane and the folded gloves. And they introduced the top hat swing sensation drum set with that graphic on it as like the flagship of their whole line, the pinnacle of their line. Ludwig was tops in the drum world, and this was the very top of the Ludwig drum line. In 1940, this is the best drum set money could buy. It had every possible accessory. It was the best of the best. You know, there's a few mysteries that sort of surround the top hat set and have created some of the mystique that goes along with the set. One of the biggest mysteries is why there are so few of them that ever existed. You know, right now in the world, there's probably about 20 of these sets that are known to exist. One of the biggest mysteries is why there are so few of them out there. Some people think that maybe as we're still coming out of the Depression, that a set that was considered to be extremely opulent, the very top of the drum world, the best that money could buy, and just extravagant in every way, might have just been a little bit of a hard sell for people who were still feeling the crunch of the Depression. Now, if you think about it, this drum set sold for $342 back in 1940. When you think about that in today's money, that's over $8,000. And think about it, that's a lot of money for anybody, and it could be that they were just too darn expensive for very many people to afford. One of the other little mysteries about the top hat set comes in the actual graphic. This is, you know, a very period style graphic, the black graphic with the white background, and it is portraying, you know, a very elegant image. And again, maybe it was a little too elegant for the time. Who knows? We can only speculate. But just one of the cool little things that we have to wonder about is if you look at that graphic, you'll notice there are two right-handed gloves. Now, was there a reason for that? Was that a mistake that got past everybody? Or, I don't know, or did they just not care? So, when the Ludwig top hat set was introduced in 1940, it was in the 1940 Ludwig & Ludwig catalog. It's called the Top Hat Swing Sensation Kit. And again, this was their very top line set offered. It was offered in one configuration, 26-inch bass drum, 11-inch tom, 13-inch tom, a 16-inch floor tom, and a 7x14 snare drum. Now, we actually see, of the sets that I've seen, and I've had the very good fortune in my life to have owned 7 of these sets, I've seen a range of size snare drums. Some 6.5s, some 7-inch in depth. Why? That's a little mystery. It's never shown in the catalog offered as a 6.5-inch deep drum. The way the drums are date stamped is very interesting. Just about every set you see will be date stamped 1940. However, lots of them are date stamped twice. Some, but almost all of them have one date stamp of 1940, and then there's a range from anywhere from 1940 to 1946 where the second date stamp is. Now, the reason for this is they would have been stamped once with a 1940 stamp when the top hat finish was actually put onto the set. And then the second stamp would have been put on when the set was actually assembled and prepared to be sold. So we have here today, we have 3 top hat sets, and each one of them is unique with its own little special characteristics. So let's first talk about the one right behind me. This is the Ludwig Swing Sensation drum set. This would have been the set of sets to have. What is very unique about this set is it has wooden hoops. Now, this is the only one I've ever seen with wooden hoops. And I'm very fortunate to have a photograph of the original owner of this set from back in the 40s playing the set, and there it is with wooden hoops. Now, why they came out with wooden hoops with that for this set, I don't know. But that's another one of those little mysteries. This set was owned by a very popular Midwest drummer named Hank Leha, and he played the set all the way from the 40s up until the 80s. And he ended up using it in a few different configurations. Yeah, again, as a collector and a historian and doing the restoration, it was extremely helpful having that photograph of the set, a really good photograph of the set back in its original configuration. Now, the set over here is the same configuration. However, it did not have the rail mount. So it never did have the rail mount, and so it's not really clear why that was, but that's how this one came to be. This set was in fairly rough condition when I got it, and we did an extensive restoration with it. A gentleman named Matt Sinyard from the Bonzo Drum Company actually restored all of these drums and did an amazing job of bringing them back to pretty darn near their original condition. This one had some cracks in the finish, some checking in the finish, and he was able to really lovingly restore these things to really bring them back to life. Then our other set over here is in a different configuration. So this is in the 4-piece 26, 13, 16 with a 6.5x14 snare drum. And again, originally like this. Now, this is a set that has the 1940 stamp, then also 1946 stamp. So this is a set that would have come out, obviously, 6 years after they were originally introduced. And it was never, the top hat configuration or the top hat graphic was never offered in a catalog after 1940. So apparently they still had drums sitting around that were made in 1940 and were still making sets, whether they were by special order or Whether they were discovered, nobody really knows. But this one is from 1946 and in a unique configuration, just a single rack tom and single floor tom. This is kind of my favorite one. This is the most rock and roll set of them all. I really like this configuration. This one really seems to be the most usable, playable set in a modern setting. You know, a great one rack, one floor, big bass drum configuration. All right, well that should do it for the Ludwig & Ludwig top hat drum set. Thanks for spending your time with me. These drums are all available at Donn'sDrumVault. We'll see you on the next episode.